Hey guys, welcome to CSS Mentor. My name is Miriam. I am your instructor for the course of Anthropology. Today our lesson is related to social anthropology, with the main focus being on culture. So our course is on the definition of culture and the understanding of its characteristics and functions. So let's dive right in. Be sure to follow and like and subscribe so that you can learn more from these videos in the future. Let's get to it then. Okay, so defining culture. Culture is everything that people have, think, and do as members of society. That is, everything that people have actually refers to the material possessions. Everything that people think refers to things they carry around in their heads, such as ideas, values, and attitudes. And everything that people do refers to behavior patterns. Thus, all cultures are composed of material objects, ideas, values, and attitudes, and patterned ways of behaving. So, now that we've actually defined what culture is, let's look at some of the characteristics of culture. So, culture is shared. For a thing, idea, or behavior pattern to qualify as being cultural, it must have a meaning shared by most people in a society. For instance, according to the informal norms of culture of the mountainous Asian kingdom of Bhutan, people greet each other by extending their tongues and hands. This might seem odd for people of other cultures. They might even take it as being disrespectful, but it is normal for the people in Bhutan, and this is their normal way of greeting each other. So, the culture there is shared between the people. Okay, moving on. Culture is learned. So, culture is not transmitted genetically, as some used to believe. One cannot inherit it, rather, you acquire it. It is acquired through a process of learning or interacting with one's cultural environment, and learning happens by observation and experiments. This process of acquiring culture after we are born is called inculturation. So it's not true when people say that the culture they have been born with. You aren't born with a culture, you are born into a culture. So, to better understand this, let's compare learning to instincts. So, the discipline of anthropology has negated biological determinism, which is that your inherited qualities doesn't define you or helps you in life. If humans are to survive, they must learn most of their coping skills from others in their culture. Natural instincts play least role. Learning plays the maximum role. There is a constant debate. Anthropology refused it on the grounds that instincts actually minimizes, believing that instincts play the main role, minimizes human role in shaping themselves. It is biased as well, as it judges people on the basis of their fixed traits rather than their learned traits. And lastly, it shifts the blame from human actions to biological phenomenon. So let's move on to the next characteristic. Culture is adaptive. So, culture enables people to adapt to their environments and thus increase their chances of survival. Survival is only possible when we adapt. So, for example, we assume erroneously that if a Hadza adult of Tanzania does not know how to solve an algebraic equation, then he or she must be less intelligent than we are. Yet, there is no evidence to suggest that people from some cultures are fast learners and people from others are slow learners. The study of comparative cultures has taught us that people in different cultures learn different cultural content. The attitudes, values, ideas, and behavioral patterns, and that they accomplish this with similar efficiency. So the traditional Hadza hunter has not learned algebra because such knowledge would not particularly enhance his adaptation to life in the East. So this also means that we should not judge other cultures based on what is true for us and what is false for them. But, for these people, uh, they know how to track a wounded uh, bushbuck that has not been seen for 3 days, where to find groundwater, and how to build a house out of locally available materials. So this shows that it is not that these people are less intelligent than us, just that they are more focused on other activities for their survival. Moving forward, culture is integrated. So, the various parts of a culture, things, ideas, and behavior patterns, are interconnected to some degree. Thus, a change in one part of the culture is likely to bring about changes in other parts of the culture. So, for instance, change in the economic modes or substance patterns brings changes in social and political lives of people as well. In hunters and gatherers society, mode of economy was simple. There was no leader and no established kinship system. With the changing economy patterns, political authority and kinship structure was established. Moving on, culture is dynamic. So, cultural diffusion and innovations are responsible for cultural changes and dynamics. In pre colonial times, in the 19th century, most sub Saharan African societies viewed thin women as unattractive and very healthy women as beautiful. But owing to the 20th century IT revolution, contemporary African women, with the assistance of government health officials, are getting the message that being obese or even overweight not only is unhealthy but also unattractive. So we can see that it one the concept of one era can shift in another era. So these are basically the characteristics of a culture. So what are the functions of a culture? So culture actually serves a variety of functions in human society and plays a crucial role in shaping the ways in which people think, behave, and interact with one another. So here are some of the main functions on how they are manifested in different societies. Cultural identity. So, cultural identity is the sense of belonging and attachment to a particular culture. It influences individual values, beliefs, and self perception. So, culture helps people to form a sense of identity and belonging by providing shared symbols, values, and practices that create a sense of commonality and group membership. For example, the use of particular language, dress, customs can create a sense of shared identity among members of a particular ethnic group. Culture regulates behavior. Culture provides norms, values, and rules that regulate behavior and establish social order. For example, in many societies, there are cultural norms that dictate appropriate behavior in different social contexts, such as how to act in public versus private settings. So, for example, in the Japanese culture, slurping noodles is not shown as to be disrespectful, rather, it is the proper way to eat them. It might seem odd to foreigners, but that is also a part of their culture. Transmitting knowledge and skills. Culture serves as a repository of knowledge and skills that are transmitted from one generation to the next. For example, traditional agricultural practices, hunting techniques, and artisanal skills are often passed down through cultural traditions, like tea ceremonies and giving gifts on Eid, etc. Facilitating social cohesion. Culture plays a role in building social cohesion and cooperation by establishing shared goals and promoting collective action. For example, in many societies, there are cultural practices and institutions that promote solidarity and cooperation, such as sharing of food or the celebration of festivals. So, in conclusion, culture plays a pivotal role in shaping our world. Understanding its significance and functions is crucial for fostering inclusivity, harmony, and global cooperation. So now that we have learned this important aspect, our next video we will explain the four types of anthropology and the four main fields of it. Thank you very much, and I hope you have a good day. Goodbye.